Namaste, gods, goddesses, and the mysteries of light. This is Dr. Shreya Tayan. And if you're new to my channel, please like, subscribe, and do not forget to hit that notification bell so you can be updated on my latest and my current videos. Welcome, 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 everyone. We're just going to wait just for a moment and let, you know, the audience build up here. I did send out a flyer earlier on my wall, and I also did it on Instagram too. So it is late as well. So hopefully someone
You
will chime in here.
you also might get a flood of viewers after the live because I'll share it to my channels. And you may know this, but I haven't really done videos in a while. I just kind of just been in a research mode, study mode, and just kind of accumulating more knowledge until I get the spirit to hit me and do a whole bunch of videos. But it's gonna hit me. But I'm pretty sure once I post it to Facebook and everything else, they can be like, "Oh, snap! The Anarkist did a video," because I haven't really done one in a while. So, you know.
Yep. I completely understand. I kind of been like in hiatus myself. Like all of August, I kind of went on, you know, MIA. I had to
Okay.
do some self healing for myself, pull back into myself, and re strategize my life. So I can definitely relate to that one.
For
So we're
sure.
gonna go ahead and I'm gonna introduce my guest speaker, the Anarkist. Okay, you guys heard his name, the Anarkist or Anarchist. I'll let him go ahead and talk at this moment.
Peace, y'all. A lot of y'all should know who it is by now. You know what I'm saying? Me and Dr. Tayenda collaborated so many times. It's your boy, the Anarchist, man. Your local studier, researcher, truth seeker. You know, whatever you want to call me, I'll be that. It doesn't matter. But yeah, on today, me and my sister, Dr. Tayenda, we're going to be talking about a very, very good subject. Very good subject. A lot of you are going to get a lot of information because if you know me, you know I'm the type that don't just give you information that you can just say, oh, wow, that was something to think about. No, I'm about to give you research to study. This is a study session. We are, some of the greats call this the gathering, when people of like minds, of metaphysical type of minds get together in a what we call build in some communities. You know what I'm saying? We build on our consciousness, on our spiritual endeavors. But anyway, you're like, dang, Anarchist, what y'all going to be talking about? We are going to be talking about twin flames. Twin flames. I'm going to kind of break down that word. I'm going to break down what it is. And at the end of this live, if we have time, we can take some questions because I know everybody want to know about the twin flames. Love, which we're going to have to break down too if we're talking about the twin flames, is such an important topic when it comes to metaphysics, spirituality, life, really, you know, because love is, as some people say, the key. Love is the answer. Love is all you need type stuff. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna get into all of that. I'm gonna break down this whole thing about twin flames. I know y'all been seeing online. Oh, your twin flame. 7 signs that you may have met your twin flame. How do you know what I'm saying? You're seeing all these articles pop up. So we definitely gonna explain what that is. I'm gonna give you guys details, and I'm also going to give you bibliography, stuff that you can research on your own. So you can just say what an anarchist said. No, the anarchist is giving you stuff that you can look at for yourself. Because remember, and I have to preface this conversation by saying this when we talk about twin flames. When we do these talks and we're talking about spirituality and metaphysics, it cannot be only in rationale. What do you mean, anarchist? I mean, it can't just be this means that, that means this. Because if I get to talking about twin flames, I'm pretty sure there's either going to be somebody in the chat or in the comments or in just their own minds saying, well, what the anarchist saying can't be true because I read this about twin flames and that conflicts with this. I need you guys to understand when it comes to studying metaphysics and studying spirituality, we are not talking about humanity. We're talking about things that people have different perceptions of, different concepts of. So what you could have read somewhere else could be true. And even though what I'm saying to you might conflict, it can also be true. That's how spirituality works. It's like that. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that meme where you have one person looking at the 6 and the other person's on the other side looking at the 9 and they find like, no, that's a 6. No, that's a 9. when really it is actually both. It's the same thing. We're just looking at it from two different perspectives. That's how most topics in spirituality work. You can say, oh, but I read this and it contradicts what you said. So both can be true. That's just a human, logical way of looking at things. It's not a spiritual way of looking at things. That's why a lot of people get confused and they end up joining cults or stuff that don't really, you know what I'm saying, teach them or grow them. They just hanging on to somebody's word who they believe instead of going within. So I had to preface y'all by saying that because a lot of this stuff is something that, because I know a lot of people might ask me, well, Anarkist, how do I know I met my twin flame? And I'll tell you the answer to that right now. You know. You just know. You know it. You don't need nobody you don't need no article talking about the 7 ways. Because again, when I read some of these articles, I say, well, shoot, I know I'm with my twin flame, my soulmate, my soul tie, whatever, and we don't line up with none of that stuff. So, but I know for a fact that I'm with my twin flame. I know that for a fact, and we're going to get into that. So that's one of the preface I want to make. Don't think just because you read something else that contradicts what I say that is wrong or that's wrong or I'm wrong. Just know it's all about perspective, and know that if you really, really want to understand these things, you have to know thyself. You have to go deep into yourself and know who you are. Don't just hold on to the word of somebody who is not you, because there is nobody who's supposed to know you better than you. I really don't like the spiritual stuff that's going on out here, because a lot of people hold on to these concepts and they say, well, because that person said it or because I read it here, this actually must be true. And no, these people don't know you. You know you, but you are supposed to know you better than yourself. That's why I tell people to get into meditation, because I don't want people walking around here with, dang, how do I know? How do I know? That means you just don't know yourself. You need to spend more time with yourself. You need to get into a quiet mind, a quiet space. You know what your feelings telling you. You know if you meet a person and you're like, wow, we really connecting. You don't need an article to tell you that you connected with a person. You don't need a YouTube video to tell you that you really feel energy with somebody. You understand what I'm saying? So just understand that when we talk about twin flames. Now, and I'll let Dr. Tyan, if you want to chime in here, because I know I can go on rants. So
It's
if you want to say
okay.
anything here, you can go
Yeah,
ahead. Or
I will. I'll chime in. First of all, the way that I was introduced to the twin flame journey was from Source, and it wasn't the term twin flame that Source used. It was divine partner. I started going to the Hindu temple, and I noticed when I would go to the shrines of these gods that were inside the temple that they had their counterparts. Every god had the female version of them in manifestation. So the first one that I noticed that stood out to me was Krishna. Krishna and Radha, Shakti and Shiva, Lakshmi and Vishnu. And I was like asking the priest, like, okay, so I see these gods, but I'm seeing these goddesses because, I came from Christian religion, Christendom, which is the three Abrahamic religions. So you don't hear about goddesses. You only hear about a god. So the first time I ever known anything about a goddess was from the Hindu temple. So the priest told me they're twin flames. Twin flame? What is a twin flame? I didn't know anything about a twin, and I definitely didn't know anything about a flame. So I started to research it. And as I researched it, everything that I know about the relationship that I was in with my husband aligned. We were definitely going through that push and pull, the chaser and runner dynamic. We were mirroring each other, we were hurting each other, and we weren't even doing it on purpose. It was just a part of our journey. And I remember, like it was yesterday, my husband looked at me and he told me, I got my own journey. Now, to me, that crushed me. Because as a Christian, we're supposed to be journeying together. What are you talking about, Negro? You got your own journey. So I'm like, okay, I'm totally lost. And it just got me on this real deep spiritual quest to find me. And I found my twin flame. I am my twin flame. Let's start with that first. You are your own twin flame. You are the one. You have to be the one before you align with the other half of your soul. Okay. And so when I started to learn about Hinduism and learn about the different attributes, of the gods and goddesses, I started to realize that we possess all of these aspects just like God. We are made in God's image. That's what it actually means. Same thing with twin flames. We are made in the image of the other half. I just feel that I am the female version of my twin, and my twin is the male version of me. But it doesn't mean that we have to be together, because
Mm-hmm.
me and my twin both have agreed in this lifetime we're not going to be together at this moment. So I don't believe like most people do when they romanticize the twin flame journey. Oh, I gotta be with that person. He can't be with that karmic. That karmic is not meant for him. I'm the one that's meant for him. What's yours is yours, and I'm telling you, you don't have to fight for it. It will be fighting for you.
Oh,
That's
well
what I
said.
believe. I believe our twins help us to be catalysts. They're used as catalysts for our spiritual journeys, and everybody's journey is different. Everybody's journey is not the same. So, what their twin flame dynamic is for them is going to be totally different than what my twin flame journey is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I believe in soul contracts. I believe that the soul contract that I have with my divine partner is for me and my divine partner. And it could be for him to be healing at this moment while I do spiritual work, and vice versa. He do spiritual work while I'm doing the healing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hello, divine fam. So that's my spin on it. I don't get caught up with the labels. You can even ask my moderator, people that follow me. I tell them twin flame or no flame. If you don't start with love for yourself, it don't make a difference who the person is on the outside if you don't love the person within.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
That's
powerful.
Thank
That's
you.
powerful. Yeah, I'm glad you shared that too, because that is something that we do have to clear up before that too. Because one thing I do find is a lot of people who look for this particular information, maybe somebody needs to hear this. Sometimes, and maybe not all the time, but when people look for things like twin flames and soul ties or whatever, either they're in a relationship or they're not in a relationship. Often, what I find is that person is looking for this information from a place of insecurity. Oh, I
Mm.
need to find somebody, and they'll call it twin flame. If they're not to spirituality, they'll call it somebody else. Oh, I need to find somebody because I feel incomplete, and I think that person will complete me. When really the opposite is true. Really, you have to be whole and complete in yourself in order for that divine spirit to even show up for you. You understand what I'm saying? So that definitely is a very good way to start this, because a lot of people think, oh, as soon as I find my twin flame, I'll be better. That's not true. You're gonna even if you were, which I don't believe most people actually can if they're not their full whole selves, even if you actually could find that person with being insecure, you're gonna lose out on your blessing, as some people would say. You're gonna either push that person away because you're not your full self. Y'all have to come to each other as wholes, as two wholes, you know what I'm saying, and make another divine connection, or how you could say it. So, but let's get into, we can get into more of that in the conversation, but I want to start with the conversation speaking on twin flames. For those who just got in the room, we're talking about twin flames, soul ties, soul partners, all of these words. I want to start with this. Where did the term twin flame come, especially here in the West? And doing my research, I found that term was coined from a person named Elizabeth Clare Prophet. Some people are familiar with Elizabeth Clare Prophet's work. I will say she is very prolific. She has a lot of books. I can't think of the book that she actually came out with a book. I want to say it came out in 1970. That was one of the first books that actually talked about a twin flame. Now I'll say this.
It's called twin flames.
There you go. Now I'll say this about Elizabeth Clare Prophet.
Hmm.
I'll say this about her. She has some really good information. And what I will say is she kind of is one of the first few people who kind of like speared the whole new age movement. A lot of these terms that we use, like twin flames, and of course she was real big on talking about Saint Germain and all this other stuff.
Yep.
So I give her that credit. She was one of the first pioneers of what we now call the new age movement. And a lot of people are getting into this new age movement, which, if y'all know me and my rants, I hate these different movements and these different, oh, let's call it this, let's call it that, because again, and I said this, I had to preface this, we as human beings, we name things and we lock things down. When in spirit, when you name and try to define something, you really You know what I'm saying? You're taking it out of its essence.
Yeah.
So, that's why people say, oh, no, what you're talking about, there's no such thing as a twin flame is different from a soul tie, which is different from a soul partner, which is different from no. You're calling it names. That's what human beings do. We're getting to spirituality. So one thing I'll say about Elizabeth Clare Prophet is, personally, I think in many ways she was a fraud, straight up. Elizabeth Clare Prophet was a fraud. Calling herself a prophet, calling her husband Mark Prophet an ascended master. I don't believe Mark Prophet was no ascended master. I don't believe these people have no.
They ended up splitting up. You know that, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know that. You know what I'm saying? But again, so I just what tends to happen in these cults, which Elizabeth Clare Prophet has, is a cult.
Yeah.
A Christian cult that believes in New Age spirituality. What tends to happen is these people study metaphysics and they study spirituality and they even study occult. Occult, O-C-C-U-L-T, which just means the hidden. Not nothing dangerous or spooky. Occult just means hidden culture. They study these things, which I believe Mark Prophet was probably either a Rosicrucian. I think there's a book called Mark Prophet and the Rosicrucian.
Yeah, he was a Rosicrucian.
Might have been a Freemason. So he was in these different secret societies that teach this stuff. And then you go out and you spill this stuff to people who don't know a lot of this stuff. And they're like, wow, this must be an ascended master. He knows so much. And really, he's just a Rosicrucian who's just regurgitating stuff he's learned. So he's not an ascended master. His wife, Elizabeth Clare Prophet, not no ascended master. Get out of that. But she did come up or coin the term twin flame. Now, some of the books that she's read, or some of the stuff that she's read, which I believe how she came up with her whole thesis on this stuff. One was, if you look up twin flames, you'll find they talk about it, not necessarily twin flames, but like soul stuff, soul ties, soul matches. One of the first books you can look up is Plato's book, the philosopher Plato. He has a book called, I think it's called Symposium.
Mm-hmm.
Symposium. Yep. And what Symposium is, it's not really a book. It's actually a conversation that we wrote down and now we can read. But it's a conversation talking about, obviously, philosophical stuff, but basically talking about love and soul ties, what we now call twin flames. And it's kind of elaborate. It's on YouTube if you want to listen to it or you want to read. It's probably free or whatever. But basically, Plato puts out this philosophy, this mythology, talking about that human beings, which this is not true. A lot of people read into this stuff and they think, oh, this must be true. This is mythology. Mm-hmm. Mythology, you have to read into deeper and try to understand what they're talking about. So in Plato's mythology, he talks about human beings first being a circular being with one head and two faces with the opposite direction. And then 4 hands. Yeah. So I got 4 hands over here. She got 4 hands over here. And 4 legs. I got 2 legs over here, and they got 2 legs over here. Yeah. And the god Zeus chopped this being in half, and then put that one over there, that one over here. And then when they found each other in this mythology that Plato put in his book Symposium, they would just hug. They were so happy to meet their other half that they would just hug and do nothing else. They wouldn't eat. They wouldn't go to the bath. They just hug until they died of starvation. And so the god Zeus and the other god said, we need to stop this because they're not doing things in life, which we need them to do. We need sacrifices to keep us going and whatever. So we're going to give them genitalia so they can embrace each other. Besides hugging, they can get that orgasmic feeling out of the way and then go and do whatever they need to go. Guys, you know what I'm talking about. When you get that feeling out, you're like, whew, now I came to my senses. Let me go to work now. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, anyway, so that's in this mythology. So let's think about this deeply. What they're really saying is there was a point where, and again, this is Greek mythology. If you know anything about the Greeks, a lot of them were homosexual. So they have different, they said, oh, it was a being that was 2 guys. It was a being that was 2 girls. And it was a being that was a guy and a girl. So that's what they're trying to, explain, which they didn't call it at the time. We call it now, gays, lesbians, and heterosexuals. Mm-hmm. But what this is saying is again, I don't believe this is the humanity. It's really trying to explain spirituality, because one of the first things you need to learn in spirituality is that a spirit is both male and female. It's both masculine and feminine. That's what your spirit is. And from a lot of my research, the spiritual state, your state as a spirit, because you can't really I guess, totally feel what it's like to be a just a spirit, not a spirit in the body. That state of being, that state of feeling, is akin to the state you are in during orgasm. That's your complete state as a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if a state of an orgasm is just how you feel all the time. That would be, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm
That would
trying to
be the
get back to
dream.
that state. You understand? So yeah, that's your state. So you've been separated, and that's why even if a guy's not looking for love, you always look where the girls at. Where the that girls always where the guys at. We always looking for that other half, and we explain it as lust. Remember, people always say, "What's lust?" Oh, lust and love. People always confuse those two. Oh, you're not in love, you in lust. You know what I'm saying? Which is true, but I'm trying to make you understand that. So again, in this mythology that Plato put forth. Plato, of course, is a Greek philosopher, and I really don't get that much of philosophy, but I do try to understand mythology. Mythology is way more important than philosophy. Philosophy is a bunch of people sitting around, what if this, what if that, what if? But mythology, as our ancestors, the Kamites, the people from Kim, or Egypt, as we call now, that's what they started. Symbology, mythology, because it helps you to understand deeper things instead of how we understand things now, literal, which is why some people can't get spirituality. But in that mythology, it's telling you, first of all, we were one as male and female, and we got separated, and we're looking for each other again. Now, Anarkist, what this got to do with twin flames? Get to the point. What this explaining as far as twin flames is you are looking for that twin flame. And this is one thing I want to drop, and this may be controversial as I say this. But when it comes to twin flames, because everybody asks the question, am I with my twin flame? How do I know I'm with my twin flame? Am I ever going to find my twin flame? Anarkist, it's 6 billion people on Earth that some people are trying to get rid of, but that's another conversation. It's 6 billion people on this Earth. How do I know, or how do I find my twin flame if it's so many different people? What about this? What if this? This is why I try to Brayshaw was saying, try to think outside the box, think differently. What if, because when we talk about twin flames, we're really just talking about love. And love is a spiritual entity. What if you can meet somebody and at first they're not your twin flame, but this spirit of love, this twin flame, let's just say, can enter the body of that person and become your twin flame. That's why the last time I think me and Dr. Tyan talked, I told you about twin flame. I said anyone you meet on this earth can possibly be your twin flame. You could have multiple twin flames. That's possible. Some people was like, how can that be possible? You can only have one twin flame. I think like a human being. But like I said, take yourself out of that. What if no matter who you meet, that entity called love can enter that person and make that person your twin flame? Have you ever had an experience, and some of you have, let me know in the chat, where you may have met somebody and you like, this person is so repulsive to me, or you start dating somebody like, I don't know how much I like this person, and I'm not really into this person, but maybe one day something clicked. You was like, I love this person.
Yes.
I don't know what just happened. Mm-hmm. I went from being repulsed from this individual to loving this individual with my whole heart. I don't know what happened, but I need this person around all the time. Yep. So again, that's something that we can look at as far as twin flames. Anarkist, that's not what I read in the article the other day. Again, let's get out of it has to be this, it has to be that, it has to be the other. We're talking about spirituality. So again, and I want to say, somebody says, yep, that happened to me. And he was false. I'm glad you brought that up.
We gotta post that comment.
I'm glad you brought that up, because again, when we're talking about spiritual aspects, keep in mind we're all spirits having a human experience. So you can have, I'm glad they said that, because I wanted to mention this too. And this goes what you said earlier, Dr. Tyan, where we've gotten to a point based on the Roman civilizations that we are in now, where we romanticize things.
That's right.
So in your mind, a spiritual flame, he has to be the perfect guy in the world. He got to be Prince Charming. He got to have money. He got to have a big he got to have BD. Got to have BDE, big what you call it, energy. He got to have all this. He got to be dark and handsome. He got to do all this. He got to be my, you know what I'm saying? He got to be the love of my life. He got to treat me like a queen. He can't never be mean to me. So again, we romanticize this stuff when it's not about that. We are human beings having a human experience. What if your twin flame had a messed up, traumatizing life and he didn't come to you as his whole self?
Mm-mm.
He didn't come to you as his whole self. He came to you as an insecure half a person. So that person, even though it would be or is your twin flame, your soul tie, when you both leave this earth, gonna go right back together like an Oreo, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
That person had a very tough or traumatic experience. They didn't know how to heal themselves. And they came to you with that. That's why I mentioned in the beginning, you shouldn't look for this stuff out of a place of insecurity and not a place of whole. You have to know who you are. Because if you know how to treat yourself, you'll know how to treat another person. But if you don't know how to do that, it may still happen when you and your twin flame could just, you know what I'm saying? We're not compatible as human beings, even though there was a connection between us. So that was a very good comment. So understanding this, twin flames and all its spiritual concepts is very, very, it's deep. It's very, very deep. It's not just, oh, I just met a person, it's my twin flame, we're gonna spend the rest of our life with each other. Happy, happy, happy. Marriage, first comes marriage, then comes a baby, and the baby carriage. Don't always happen that way. These are spiritual, we all having a human experience, and we all, you know what I'm saying? So again, so back to the science. These are things you can look. You look up at Elizabeth Clare Prophet and all the stuff she says about twin flames. But again, come from what I tell you. She's not a real prophet. She's just somebody who studied metaphysics, spirituality, and the occult. Most of y'all don't. So people sitting in her church are just people in a cult. You have to do this study and this search and this journey on your own. You have to find this on your own. That's why I said, if you come to me with a question, Anarkist, how do I know this person is my twin flame? And I'm going to tell you the answer is you will know. You will know. I don't need a book. I don't need an article. I don't need a video to tell me that I'm with my twin flame. What I know is when I'm with this person, I feel good. Even the things that this person does that irritates me to the core, I still like. I like it. I got to a place where I can't live without it. When she stopped doing it and she just want to be cold, I'm like, why you not doing this no more? Right? Is something wrong? I know it's something wrong with you because you're not doing this to irritate me. So what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Because I've grown to love this thing. How can you like some anarchist that irritates yourself? Because I treat this person like I treated myself before I was with this person. I can be with myself. Even the stuff that people don't like about me or maybe I don't like about myself, I can live with. I can. Because I'm me. So that's how I know I met the mirror of me. The other side of me. And I also want to mention too, because there's articles saying, oh, well, a twin flame, if you guys are compatible, if you guys are kind of the same, this person is almost nothing like me.
Polar opposite.
In a lot of aspects, which means in many ways, this person compliments me. I'll tell you guys something. I hope my truth seekers who follow me are watching. Sometimes, because the way I am, I'm very spiritual, very metaphysical, very not of this world, very don't even want to do some things in this world. So sometimes I'll be like, man, forget the truth seekers. I don't want to do a video today. I don't want to do it. I want to sit in bed all day. My other half, my twin flame would be like, because she's so rational and unlike how I am, do the video. You said you was going to do it. You can't just tell people you're not going to do something and not even do it. You got to do your video. So I do it. So again, one thing I find out studying me and using this person to study me, I'm like, dang, we're almost a perfect entity together. Because again, I'm just so spiritual and so airy fairy. I'll be up here in the clouds. This person bring me right back down to earth. Was like, look, no, we here having a human experience. You can't just leave. You can't just escape this. We got to do it to the T. She's so just rational like that. You know what I'm saying? And it irritates me sometimes, but sometimes I'm like, dang, that's profound. Because it's like, what else would I be doing here? I ain't here to just try to be up there all the time. I came here for a reason. I need to do things on earth. You know what I'm saying? I need to do stuff like get my credit right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just regular human being stuff, which I think is boring. And I want to be about metaphysics and manifestation and all this other stuff. No, we got to, you know what I'm saying? Manifest a good credit, nigga. That's what you got to do right now. You know, so it's very complimentary if you learn how to study and you see things the way they should be seen from a spiritual perspective. Now, I'll let Dr. Tyann, if you have anything to say, Dr. Tyann, before I transition in this conversation.
Sure. First of all, hit that like button for those of you that are here. Comment, participate. You'll get so much more out of it. I actually had a situation, and I do believe that we do have an original twin. And when I say an original twin, I'm talking about the same person that came from the oversoul that we came from, the same substance of who we are to the T. We share the same chakra system and everything. I do believe in that. But I also believe, like, the anarchist said, we can align ourselves based off of our frequency to any twin flame. It doesn't necessarily have to be our original twin that we begin with. Okay. I had a situation like that where I felt like I was aligned to another twin soul. I knew he was not my original twin. And like the anarchist says, when you find the one, there is no question, there is no doubt. The fact that you even have to question it should make you question it. You see what I'm saying? Because you just know, just like like the anarchist says, I know, like, I was born a woman, that I met my twin flame. I know that we are completely opposite. We are polar opposite. Even though he is in the light, he has a lot of the dark in his shadow that he works. So I call him my dark twin. Okay. It's just something that is completely different from what I would do, he would do. I'm light, he's dark. He's African, I'm American Indian. So it's like we have two different backgrounds that we come from. We speak two different languages. And when we first were dating, we had to speak in Spanish in order for us to both understand each other, because even though we spoke English, his English was British English to me, which is a broken English. It was not an American English. So it was very difficult to really understand him. And eventually he got rid of, that strong accent, and he learned really fast to speak American English. And that kind of helped us out a lot. But your twin, everybody thinks that a twin flame will be somebody that has everything in common down to the T. Now, you may have a lot of similarities, but like the anarchist said, it is the contrast. It is those things that are different that balances out the union. If you were stuck with yourself 24/7, as much as you like yourself, you won't like that person. You don't like someone, well, oh yeah, that's my favorite song too. I mean, you got to have something of your own. You know what I'm saying? You can't have, oh, my favorite color is red. Oh, my favorite color. I mean, that's boring. I don't want someone identical to me and like the things that I like. I like what I like because it makes me feel good and it makes me feel unique. But if I had someone the same way, I won't feel so unique when I have someone that's just like me. So your twin flame, get rid of that myth that they're going to love everything about you. They're going to be able to take the words right out of your mouth, which sometimes it does happen that way. Sometimes my twin completes my sentences and vice versa. But that doesn't mean that that makes you a bona fide twin flame. I feel that what makes you a bona fide twin flame is when you affirm things into one another. When you speak life, you give to one another instead of taking away from each other. You build each other up. And my twin flame, I'm going to be quite honest, he pushed me. I can allude a lot of my success to my twin flame. I was not able to become a doctor if it wasn't for the fact of him supporting and being there with my kids while I was studying 12 hours a day for 30 days. What took most of my acquaintances and my you know companions around me that was in school 5 years to do, I did in 30 days, and it was all because my twin flame sacrificed. And that's another thing. When you have a twin flame, like right now, I can call my husband right now, even though we're separated. And if I need something, he'll give it to me. That's a true twin flame, is a person that holds space for you, no matter if you're not in the romantic stage of your union or not. Love with the twin flame is truly unconditional. If you have someone that's putting conditions on what they'll do for you, or I'll do this if you do that, that's not your twin flame. A twin flame loves you unconditionally, and they don't have to be taught that. Yes, there's some things they have to heal through, but unconditional love should never be a thing that they should have to deal with, or excuse me, heal through. If you are dealing with someone that is conditional, chances are you're not dealing with your twin flame, you're dealing with a karmic soulmate, which is completely different.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. And I want to expound on that as well. But before I do that, I also want to kind of make sense of my point before too, because I like to do this. I understand that teaching is kind of is a weird thing, because you have to, when you teach, you find that you can say something to 10 people and they get 10 different comprehensions of it. And it just is what it is. You know, you really can't teach something that they don't know or have the capacity to know. But I do feel like we do all have the capability to try to understand a lot of this stuff. Maybe some of us don't, but I feel like most of us actually do. But so again, when you study things like this, like twin flames and just the study of the soul, understand, and we talked about this, I believe the last live me and Dr. Tyen did. Go watch that, like it just like you liking this and watching this. But we talked about, one of the things we talked about is our purpose here. I think maybe I was asked that or just talked about it, but people ask all the time, what is our purpose here? And my answer is we have a lot of different purposes here. But if you want me to sum it up to one thing, we're actually here to grow ourselves. Another way I'll say that is we're here looking for love. Love is a very interesting thing. It's the most important thing in existence, not just in humanity, not just in spirituality. It's the most important thing in existence. It truly is what keep things going. Understand this, because right now we're talking about love for another entity, love for another human being. But love shows up in a lot of different ways. I know for a fact, just because Dr. Tyen is doing it, she has a love for this type of diatribe, this type of talk, and this type of research, this type of, these topics. When you love something, it does something to you. I spend a lot of time doing things like making beats, producing beats. Even when I do these videos, even when I talk about this stuff, it makes me feel a certain way, because I'll just even put it as the love I have for music. When I'm doing music and I learn something new as a music producer, I'm like, oh my God, yes. I get the same feeling that I get when I am learning something. I have a love for knowledge and acquiring knowledge. I'm like, wow, I'm making breakthroughs in my mind. I'm becoming a totally different person with this information. So the reason why I bring that up is that's the feeling that you're supposed to get with a so-called twin flame. That person is here to help you grow your spirit. That person is here, whether it seems traumatic in a relationship or it seems good in a relationship. But it's harkening back to what you said before. It's not about, oh, we just perfect. She's Jack, I'm Jill. We just, we love the color blue. We're both eating the same thing every day. That's not growth and development. Mm-hmm. That's not going to grow you. Somebody going to grow you when they irritate your soul, like walking into the room, like, clean up this damn room. Why you always so messy? You need to be this way. And I'm like, no, I want to be this way. And you know what I'm saying? They try to help you grow, and y'all meet, in a common space where you like, well, dang, maybe I am messy. Maybe I need to perfect this area in my life. You understand? And that's just one example. It could be all. It could be you don't ever read. You stupid. You know what I'm saying? If you talk to twin flame, they'll talk to you like that. You stupid because you don't read books. And I read books all the time. So you need to be like this.
We're getting reverb. I'm getting reverb from you.
Yeah, I need to get back from the mic a little bit. Is it sounding okay?
Mm-mm.
Not okay?
So, you sound like a robot right now.
Oh, I do? Oh, no.
You do. Like, you remember Charlie Brown? Wah, 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 wah.
I may have
sounds like. Well, while you get that straightened out, I want to kind of like touch bases with the vegan Virgo about love being the highest frequency. Love is definitely the highest vibration on the earth. There is no highest frequency higher than love. And that is what we all came into the world with. We came into the world not with the vibration of fear, but the vibration of love. Because love casts out fear. So if you're in a relationship and there's a lot of fear around the relationship, and you're thinking that this is your twin flame, chances are you're not with your twin flame, because fear and love cannot cohabitate in the same space. And I'm not saying, like, the Anarkist, that things are going to be picture perfect every day. But when you are truly with the other half of your soul, you affirm each other, you build each other up, you lift each other up. I'm not going to say you don't put each other down. I mean, we're imperfect. Okay, we're not going to be perfect all the time. But for the most part, that person is going to be a safe container for you to grow. And the number one thing that it's about in a twin flame union is, like the Anarkist said, it's about growth and expansion. This is how you know you're with your twin flame. If you're not growing, if you're not elevating, chances are you're not with your twin flame. And that's okay. It's okay if you're not with your twin. It's okay if you are having difficulties and you move on to a soulmate. We learn from our soulmates too. We learn from every relationship. I like what Neville Goddard says, that we are the universe pushed inside out. All of our relationships are mirrors. It's not just a twin flame that's your mirror. Every relationship that you have, even the relationship with your mother, the relationship with your father, your brother, your sister, so forth and so on. All of our connections mean something. So it's not just our twin that should mean something. We should be sentient beings to everyone. We should have symbiotic relationships and healthy relationships with everyone that we come into contact with. All right, Anarkist, let's see how you doing over there. You want to say something? Oh, I can hear you at all now. Hi from India. We got somebody that's on live from India. They said they just stumbled on our chat. We can't hear you. There is no sound coming out. Okay. He's gonna switch off and come back on with us live, you guys. Thank you all for joining me. I do apologize about the short technical difficulty. He is our guest speaker, so he will be coming back and joining us. I want to talk about soul connections. Soul connections slash soul ties. They're very real. I have so many people that come to me that are married and they have met their twin flame and they are wanting to know what they need to do. Do they leave their husband? Do they leave their wives so they can be with their twin flame? And what I always tell each and every last one of them, have you learned all the lessons that you feel that you needed to learn with your husband slash wife, whatever the situation is? Hold on, you guys. Anarkist is contacting me. One moment. Hold on, y'all. Okay, let me let him back in.
Peace, y'all.
Anarkist.
Back in the chat.
He's back. Hey.
What up, though?
We got power. I got the power.
And I'll let you finish what you were saying, Dr. Tyan, because I was listening.
Okay, so anyway, this is what I tell them. I met my twin flame when I was married to my kid's father. He was my first. He was my first in everything. My first intimacy, my first children, my first husband. We were together for 22 and a half years. And I realized, and it had nothing to do with my twin. I did not leave my husband for my twin. I realized that I learned every lesson that I needed to learn. He could not teach me anything else that I didn't already know. And so I divorced him and I blocked my twin. I didn't have any communication with him because I wanted to be my decision. I didn't want to be influenced. I didn't even want to think for a second or have it over my conscience that I did it for him. So 6 months after I blocked him, I unblocked him 6 months after my divorce, after it was final. And my twin waited an additional 6 months before he even contacted me. So it was about a year after my divorce, and we started dating. So I do believe in divine timing. So that's what I always tell my twins that are in that situation. I tell them to trust in divine timing, that if that is truly your twin and you're meant to be, that everything will happen decently and by arrangement. God knows that you belong together. You don't have, that's one thing that you guys need to realize. There's not really anything that you have to do but be obedient. You don't have to, do 10 cartwheels and hold your nose and stand on your tippy toes for 10 days. And then your twin flame will come in. All you have to do is get in vibrational alignment of being your own twin flame, and then your twin flame will gravitate to you. Continue to do your own spiritual work, shadow work, whatever it is that you need to do to work on yourself. And I'm telling you, everything that is in alignment for you is going to come to you. And if it's your twin flame, then so be it. If it's a higher level soulmate, then so be it. Okay? It's not about finding the one, it's about becoming the one. It's not about finding a soulmate, it's about mating your soul.
Hmm.
Are you in balance with your twins within? Your anima and your animus, your yin and your yang, your masculine and your feminine energies, are they aligned? Because if you're out of alignment with yourself, how are you going to align yourself to anyone else?
That's a
All
fact. I like
right.
that.
The
I like
Anarkist,
that.
go ahead. This is your show. I don't want to steal the show from you.
Oh no, man, that's it's I think it's a good thing to share our experiences too, because again, we all here in humanity, we all on this journey, what I'm saying? We taking different routes, but the fact that you went there, somebody that can help somebody out with the path that they on, they might be right behind you and they need to know, okay, that's but I do like what you said about that, because again, in spirituality, what I learned, and I'm someone who studies avidly. I study to the point where it got me in a space where, especially when you study metaphysics, you like, okay, it's beyond just a conscious understanding of things.
Mhm.
There's an application aspect that you have to put into things. So I'll even give some of my experience with how I met and how I'm with my twin flame. Relationships before I'm with the person I'm with now didn't really go all that good. I really didn't find, I was with a lot of women, but I didn't find that connection to people, because I always, for lack of a better word, kind of looked at myself as a weirdo, stuff I was into, or, just how I would think. It wouldn't really connect with other people. So I could be with them for a little bit, but really not too long, until I found a person who wasn't really like me, but in herself, she was like, now that's interesting about you. That's really interesting. It didn't repel her. It kind of like, what I'm saying? She
It
was
intrigued her. She was intrigued by
exactly,
it.
exactly. She would, she wouldn't just be like, oh, that's weird. That's dumb. That's stupid. Get away. She'd be like,
Hmm.
okay, you think that way? That's interesting. So that's what interests me in her. Like, oh, snap. You don't think this is, what I'm saying? So it wasn't like she was exactly like me. It was just that we did have a connection on that level. But before I got to that point, I did do a lot of growing in myself. Again,
Mm.
I did a lot of studying, and I think I may have talked about this, because we actually, me and Dr. Tyen or Dr. Tyen and I had a very, very good connect, a conversation where we talked about just ourselves. I think when we first got together
When we
before we
first
did a
met.
live, and you told me a lot about yourself, which is an
Yep.
amazing story. I told you something about myself, and one thing we did have in common was we've both been in like a super dark place.
Yeah.
And when I told you about my story, I was like, man, I was deep in depression. I did not love myself at all. I hated myself. And I was on the verge of something very terrible, which is, a lot of people deal with, which is being suicidal. And I had to come out of that. And I had to say it was only two ways out of this: actually getting out of here,
Hmm.
or working to make myself better and not have these feelings. So I chose that direction, and I empower myself. And I even did in the physical, got into physical fitness, got into my mind, got into spirituality. I made myself a better person. I'm like, I want to be the best part of me. And right when I felt that I had reached a pinnacle of that, that's when I met this person. That's when I met this person. I was able to have a real relationship, something I never really had before, especially now on that level. Now with these feelings I was feeling for that. So that ties into what you were saying about you do have to be whole in yourself. You can't just look for some person to fill you up, or oh, they complete me, even though that is how you're going to feel when you do meet this entity,
Very
this
true.
other half of you. So it's just interesting that you said that, because that's exactly the journey that I took. But again, I was saying this before, I think, when I was getting all robot-y. This is something I like to explain as well, because this is a very hard thing to explain in spirituality and metaphysics. When we talk about spirit, and I said this before, we are, and I know you guys have heard this before, but we are one. We are one. We are all the same thing. We are one. I am God. Dr. Tyen is God. Every single one of y'all in the chat is God. Y'all are a form of God. And I explain it. This is the best way it's ever been explained to me, and I explained to somebody else. Spirits are like liquids, are like water. If you pour a bottle of water into the ocean, I promise you, you can't be like, that's the water part, that's the water part, that's the water. It's all going to become the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think of that as spirits, and I've heard this before when I study spirituality, there are spirits who die, and when they reincarnate in multiple beings. So that's why I say we have to get out of this singularity, even though I know it's human beings and you feel like you're you, I'm me. We really the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you can see an aspect of even that original twin flame in every single person you meet. And I also say this again too, just like Dr. Tyen said, every single entity and being in your life is supposed to be there, good or bad. They're supposed to be there. They're helping you in some way. A spiritual journey is not just wanting a good life. You know what's interesting? Speaking of my twin flame, my queen, this is something I feel like is weird, but I can't do without this. When we watch movies, she has real bad anxiety, and also she really hates movies with real cringe parts. So almost like a scary movie, she's like, "Oh my god, I can't watch this. It's too cringy." And we have debates sometimes too, because she'll be like, "You know what I want? I want to watch a movie where nothing bad happens." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, I want to watch a movie where nothing bad happens, nothing cringy, nothing anxiety." I'm like, That's not a movie. A movie, there's supposed to be a plot. There has to be some sort of conflict. Yeah. That we have to get to the ending part. So you're like, no, I want to see a movie where nothing bad happens. Everybody, I'm like, you can just go outside and just watch people. You know what I'm saying? Watch the world. You know what I'm saying? Don't have to be in a movie. But it's interesting because life is sort of like a movie. It needs that conflict. Yeah. It needs that thing. Again, movies are set on a template of original Egyptian mythology. A hero, which most movies have a hero or a main person who we kind of look to as a hero. The hero template comes from the god Heru. That's why they sound the same. Hero and Heru. Mm-hmm. The Heru person, this is what I found in my spiritual journey, is us. Mm-hmm. We are Heru. Heru is not just a being who existed a long time ago, especially if you really study mythology. Heru himself never actually existed. That is a mythology to explain you and your experience as the hero in this movie, in this life, in this world. Mm-hmm. You're going to face conflict. His antagonist is Set, which actually is the basis for Satan. Set is the Egyptian devil. Set is Satan. Set on. Two gods, Set and Anubis. Set on, Satan. Mm-hmm. Jesus fights Satan. Heru fights Set. Mm-hmm. So this is all mythology to help you guys understand that when I guess as they say, when life gives you lemons, what do? You make lemonade. But really, when life places a battle or a conflict or a traumatic moment or a traumatic person in your way, the spiritualist, the Heru looks at this as, how do I overcome this? Mm-hmm. How do I use this experience or this person or this entity or whatever to grow? And then you will find, once you do grow, that person, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't need that person anymore. Sometimes it's just like, okay, all right, we'll go our separate ways. I've gotten what I need to get. Hopefully you've got what you need to get. I don't know. You're still kind of crazy. I don't know.
Can I say something? Oh, I just want to piggyback on what you said, and I'll just let you have the floor again. I believe that we have a soulmate for each level of our spiritual journey. Just like we have spiritual teachers for each level of our journeys. Many of us, not all of us, but many of us come from, organized religion. Let's just face it. We learned our spirituality. It started with the church. Okay. Then we started finding out that the things that we were learning in the church were all lies. And then we moved on to other people that found out that it was lies, and they wrote about spirituality. They researched what we deem as truth. And truth is only our perspective, people. And everybody's perspective, like the Anarkist said, is different. Where am I going with this? Just like we have each level that we go to spiritually and have a different spiritual teacher, the same thing applies in our lives with our lovers. That's why we shouldn't get all emotionally bent up out of shape because things didn't work out with a certain person. They played their role. They had a soul contract with you to be with you for only 2 years, not 20. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So this is why, because at first I used to be mad at my angels because they always used to tell me with my twin flame, why are you so attached, Tyann? Stop being so attached. You're possessing him. You have to free him to his journey. I got tired of hearing that filth farm Philly stuff. That didn't make sense to me. All I wanted was what the heart wanted. My heart wanted to be with him. It didn't want to be with another man. This is a man that I'm married to. I don't want to be with another man while I'm married to this man over here. And when I finally understood that he played his role, he played his part in my movie called Tie-In, and I signed a contract with him that he would only spend this part of the journey with me,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest is to be unfolded in its own due time. However, I wrote it to be.
Mm-hmm.
We are the ones that are acting and playing this movie. We are the director, we're the actor. We did this whole thing. This is our whole script.
That's a
So
fact.
enjoy the journey instead of getting so emotionally charged about, oh, it just hurts me to be without my twin. I just want to be with my twin. Be with yourself, enjoy yourself. And in the meantime, there's a saying that church people used to say, while you're waiting on your blessing, dance in the hallway.
Mm.
Dance in the hallway.
Mm.
Bask in your own healing. We're sitting up here, we're wanting to chase the bag, we're wanting to chase money. Let healing be your bag. That's the new bag right now. That's my bag. That's
Mm.
my goal right now. Healing.
Mm.
Because I'm telling you, there ain't nothing like you being your whole and complete self and enjoying money and then being broke and have money.
Mm.
You have money, but you have a broken spirit. That's the reason why people say money does not bring happiness. No, but it sure buy the things that make you happy. That's why
It's
I
a
like
fact.
what Billy Carson says. Being woke don't mean being broke.
Right.
And I'm going to add this to spirituality. Being a twin flame don't mean that you have to be with your twin flame. And if you are, if you guys worked it out, I'm telling you, two people like yourself, Anarkist, you and your twin flame, the reason why the two of you are together is because you guys are choosing each other every day. Period. You're choosing to do your own work. So while you work on yourselves, you guys are completely in a cycle of harmonizing.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's contract is different. That just lets me know that the anarchist and his twin flame have been here many, many times and have mastered many, many lifetimes to get to this point in their lives to where they can say, okay, I'm going to choose you in this lifetime, and that's it. That's that.
It's a
It
fact.
took Jesus many incarnations before he became the Christ. He came as Buddha, he came as Krishna, he came as all these different energies until finally in the Christ lifetime, that was the one he mastered and nailed. So he didn't have to come back here again. Do your research. If you read the stories of Heru, if you read the story of Horus, Krishna, Jesus Christ, Buddha, they're all the same. They all had virgin mothers. They all had immaculate conception. Okay? That's another thing that I want to talk about since we're talking about saviors. I've seen a lot of people and I call it the twin flame matrix, by the way, the anarchist, because it does become a matrix when you get caught up in it and you allow it to consume you. The twin flame journey is a spiritual journey. It takes care of itself. Just like our journey being here, being spirits housed in a human body, there is nothing that we had to do to make this happen. We signed up for it and now we're all just enjoying the ride. But
Mm-hmm.
I ask that you also enjoy the human aspect of yourself because we did come here as spirits to have a human experience. So be human. Enjoy yourself. Don't get so wrapped up into, the twin flame journey that you're not even living your life. You caught up and you wondering what your twin doing right now. You know what? I don't know what the hell my twin doing right now. I sure don't. But I tell you one thing, baby, we are connected. If I call him right now, he'll answer. If I text him right now, he'll text me back. And it could be
Mm.
months. I'm not attached to when I'm going to talk to him, what he's doing. I wonder if he's wearing the underwear that I brought him 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not attached to. I learned the best thing that I would tell you, the fastest that you learn to be non attached to the journey, that's when things will evolve the way that you want them to, because you're moving out of God's way.
That's a
Some of us,
fact.
I'm sorry, I'm going to say one last thing. Some of us think that it's our twin flame that is keeping us out of union, when really it's ourselves. Really, you need to check yourself. And
That's a
sometimes
fact.
it is the twin that need to work on their shadow work. And why they're working on their shadow, let them. Trust
Mm,
me, I've been with my twin when he was not healed, and all he did was bleed on me.
mm.
The more that I loved him, the more he fought me for loving him, because he didn't love himself. I remember one time we got into an argument, and I'll leave this in closing. And he asked me, he was like, "Why do you love me? What do you want from me? What do you want from me?" And I looked at him, I'm like, "Are you serious?
Mm,
I want you to love yourself more than I do.
mm,
That's what I want for you. So then
mm.
you can love me." Because a person cannot love you until they learn to love themselves. And I
Wow.
don't want nobody that don't love themselves. Been there
Wow.
and done that.
And you know what's so powerful about what you just said? It's like it's really those moments and those experiences that really grow you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
When you actually have a relationship with somebody, and I know you know, especially being with somebody for so long, there are things that you happen in a relationship that really grow your mind when you really try to learn the deeper inner parts of a person. You know what I'm saying? When you really seeing, like you said, their shadow, when you seeing all the negative aspects of them, all the positive aspects of you, you like you said, you pretty much do grow from if you into multiple relationships, relationship. You get out of one, you be like, okay, the next one I get into, I'm definitely not gonna do that. If a person, you know how they doing on social media now, if a person show me them red flags, I know to get out at that point. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't know to waste my time or whatever is you learn from that particular experience. But that is what life is all about. That's what you got to
Hmm.
understand. It's not just about, oh, because I know a lot of people harp on, oh, I thought he was the one. And that's not the energy I want people to come at this experience, this human experience with. I want you to grow from everything. Like I
Yeah.
said, watching people and just learning from people who I'm not even with is one of the best things to do for my research.
Hmm.
One of the best things to do, because again, I don't feel like my mentality kind of just even at a young age was not really so much on a human level. So some things that humans do, I'd be like, that's weird to me, but I'm learning from you. So again, we're gonna right now we're gonna try to tie this up, but I want people as I'm
Yeah.
speaking now to try to come up with some questions. Remember, we're talking about twin flames, soul ties, or whatever. But I
Yeah.
want to say this: we are all here, as Dr. Tyann said, on a journey. You are here to grow yourself, meaning your spirit. The human experience is literally here to grow your spirit. So you're here to learn, not just from books, not just from videos, but literally from other people, literally from the people that you're with. You're going to find that you get into a relationship with somebody and you may leave that relationship and you will leave that relationship a different person than when you came into that relationship. That's going to happen every single time you mesh with a person, be it your twin flame or not. Be
Hmm.
it your twin flame or not. Does a twin flame mean that somebody you're supposed to be with forever? No. Does a twin flame mean, oh, it got to be this person and not nobody else? No, it don't really mean that. It don't mean that. It means what your spirit is telling you right now. If your spirit told you I had a twin flame and now I'm with my other twin flame, that's just what it is. If your spirit tells you, no, this person is it and there's nobody else it, that's what it is. I said that's why I
Hmm.
came into this conversation saying it's about you and it's about knowing. What do you know? And again, you don't know what you don't know. That's why I'm always
That's
stressing to
right.
people study, study, study as much as possible. Our ancestors left a plethora of
Hmm.
information that
Hmm.
now, because we are in the new age, the aquatic age, the
Yes.
era of Aquarius, this age where just knowledge is just coming at people, and now people don't even want it. Now you can literally open up your phone and know the mysteries of the universe
Mm.
on Google. But people don't want to
Yes.
do that. They don't want to do that research. They too much content with watching Netflix, watching, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying, stupid videos on YouTube, TikToks, even though there's a lot of good information on TikToks. These
Hmm.
kids, they do some studying, boy, I'm telling you. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's about learning. It's about growing yourself. And once you get into a space where you are the most comfortable with yourself, you are the most comfortable with who you are. This is another thing I want to talk about right now because it popped into my mind. This is another thing I dislike about this so-called New Age movement. Manifest, 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 manifest. Just manifest what you want. I'm about to sit here and manifest it. I'm manifesting. I almost hate that a lot of this information just came out and just isn't everybody knowledge because people don't understand it. People just don't understand it. Again, manifesting is not something that's hard. I hear people like, I'm trying to manifest, but I can't do it. It's something that, just like Dr. Tyan said, get out of your own way. Yep. This stuff is easier than what you think it is. Anarkist, but I've been trying to manifest my twin flame. He just not coming. What's wrong? I think, you know what I'm saying? Again, that's a lack of knowledge. You will perish.
That's right.
I'm telling you what to do. You complete yourself. You do your studying. You do your development. You do your spiritual growth, and you don't even have to try. What did I just say? It was at a point when I said, you know what? I'm not even about to worry about the person that I'm with. I wasn't even looking for a twin flame. I wasn't into that. But I'm like, I do want to be with somebody. I do want to have a meaningful relationship, but I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to grow myself as a person, and I'm going to just receive. I'm going to let come to me what comes to me. And it came just like that. I didn't even have to try. And that's been with most of the things in my life. That's what spirituality has taught me. Things are much easier than what we believe they are. You don't have to sit there and, I've been trying to manifest, but it's not working. Just be you, do you. Go inside to yourself. Talk to the God inside of you. I promise you it's going to talk right back to you. I promise you. How does it do that, Anarkist? Again, tonight I'm going to give y'all some homework. Go into a deep meditation. Just sit there and breathe. You don't have to fold your legs. You don't have to do that. Sit there, close your eyes, and breathe. And just let whatever thoughts come into your head come in. And when you wake up, when you go to sleep and wake up the next day, just be looking. Just be looking and just be open to anything. And let this world teach you things. Don't look at things through your human experience. Oh, that's just a person doing this. Oh, that's just a person doing that. Really analyze, why is the spirit showing me this today? What am I supposed to learn from this experience today? See, again, and it was a meme where it's just like a person was just looking through a peephole, and what they were really looking for was outside of the peephole. That's a good metaphor for what we are all doing. Our mind isn't expanded enough to actually see what's in front of us. We just too busy looking like this. And that's what happens when you expand your mind and expand your spirituality, when you grow. And again, like I said, I'm tying this all back to twin flames. If you are a person who is not with somebody and that's what you feel like you're looking for, a twin flame, that's what you have to do to find it. You have to grow your spirit, you have to grow yourself, and you have to be open to what, let's just call it, the universe is going to bring to you. You have to be open to that. You can't say, well, that can't be my twin flame because he's too ugly. You know what I'm saying? He can't be my twin flame because he ain't got enough money. You know what I'm saying? So it don't really work like that. It don't really work like you can. The way the spirit worked, you could have got with that person. You could have been that muse to make him get that $1 million. But because you rejected that and it didn't come in the package you thought you wanted it in, you wasn't going to find that. You understand what I'm saying? So again, we have to stop looking things at just on a human being level. We have to actually go into our spiritual self and learn how to see the world through those particular lenses. Because one thing I know about the spirit, if you ask your spirit for something, it's going to give it to you. Understand, you have a human perception. Your spirit can see past, present, and future. And it's only working for your benefit. So if you say, spirit, I really want to know, am I supposed to be with somebody, or how am I supposed to be with, or can I be with somebody? If you just ask that question, go into meditation, ask that question. Am I going to find my twin flame? My twin flame around the corner? Is this a person I already know? Is it someone who's been in my life the whole time that's just been rejecting? Spirit, let me know this. This is a question I'm asking you. You know what your spirit going to do? It's going to show you. It's going to configure things around and give you that answer. Exactly. It will. You know why? Because it knows everything about your past, knows everything that you know about the present that you're in, and it knows the future. That's how spirit works. So again, y'all, Give me some questions. I know y'all got questions. I think I see some in the room.
Yep.
Give me some questions.
I got
Uh,
I got one thing I want to say before you take a question, the anarchist. I was going to, I brought up Jesus Christ for a reason. We cannot have the savior mentality and think that because we found our twin flame and they got spiritual work they got to do, that we're going to be their savior and heal them. That is another thing that I want to leave you guys with. You can do your work, and by doing your work, that helps your twin. But they have to do their work. They have their own things that they have to do, just like you have your own things that you have to do. Okay? They have a contract with Source too. So don't think that you have to manipulate a situation in order to make things or bring things into fruition, because this is something that was already set in motion.
mhm.
Okay? You didn't do anything to make you a twin flame. You were chosen.
That's a fact. Yeah, and just to piggyback off of that, what I really want y'all to do is the most spiritual thing you can do, and what I want to give to people is really walk around in confidence. Walk
Mm.
around like you know what's about to happen for you. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Don't walk around like, oh, I don't know, and I really want somebody, but I don't know. Walk around like, nope, he coming. He
I'm the
coming.
stuff. There ain't no woman on the. I told my twin that, you know what? I'm gonna say this too. We are just like two peas in a pod. The anarchist. Seriously, I told my twin, I don't care who you are with. She ain't me.
Mm-hmm.
I left him with that, and I said, you can go wherever you want to go. She will never complete you the way that I do, because I am you.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much confidence I have. He'll always look for me and all these other women, and he'll never find me because I'm here, not there. That's how confident you need to be.
It's a fact. That's how you got to do it. That's how you
Hmm.
got to do it, man. You, like I said, man. The one thing that I do commend people who are really into religion like Christianity is they believe their belief in whatever they believe in. I'll talk to a Christian, they be like, nope, there ain't nothing you can say because I believe in Jesus. I believe He protects me. I believe all that, and I'm like, damn, that's spiritual. That's spirit. The fact that you believe that, that's true in them. I can't tell you nothing. I
Mm-hmm.
can't tell you nothing. People in spirituality, people in the so-called New Age movement, they need to have that same fervor, that same belief. You tell
That same
somebody who's
conviction.
into Jesus that Jesus ain't protecting them, they'll smack the, they'll, you know what I'm saying? They'll go to bat for what they believe in, and that's how you
They
have
have
to
a whole
believe.
church board after you're behind.
You understand? So again, that's really how we all have to be in whatever it is we believe in. You have to not even just believe it. You have to get to a point to where you know. I
Yeah.
know. I'm talking to women. I know Jesus protected me. Ain't nothing you can do to me, anarchist.
Mm.
I'm like, well, shoot, it is what it is then. But
Okay.
all right, let me see. What was that?
I pinned your first comment or
Got you.
question.
Jesse asks, when your twin complains about the good and bad about you, what does that mean about them? Very good question. When your twin complains about the good
Hmm.
and bad about you, oftentimes what that means is that person usually isn't as studied. They don't see. One thing I find this in most twin flame relationships that I've seen, there's usually it's usually a teacher student dynamic
Mm-hmm.
is what I find. It's and it's actually within both twins. You're teaching them something and they're learning something from you, and they're teaching you something and you're learning something from them. Now, what you, Jesse, may be teaching them is more so about spirituality. It's probably why you hear. More so about metaphysics, more so about the, I guess, the intellectual and the spiritual aspects of the relationship. That person could be teaching you something on a whole little mundane level that maybe you don't respect because you are more on a higher level, but they still teaching you. But if they complain about you, it's usually based on something that they don't know. You know what I'm saying? Something that they really can't comprehend. Because like I said, it's like I just said earlier, there are things about my twin flame, my soulmate, that drive me up the hill. And I'm just like, why you like this? But at the end of the day, because I am studied and knowledgeable about us being one soul entity,
Mm-hmm.
it's to a point where I'm just like, I understand. I've actually grown to like that aspect of her. So I don't complain about it like, oh, why you doing this? Why you doing that? Why you so this? Why you so that? I'm like, no, that's good. I flip it based on my knowledge of spirituality. Like, I like that you like that. Just like Dr. Tyann said,
Mm-hmm.
I like she said, I like that when she was with her twin flame, it's like we're not the same thing. I like that because that's helping me grow. So it's not something I'm just about to complain about and say, oh, why did you like this? Why did you like that? So again, why? What does that mean about them? It means they usually aren't as studied as you are, or else they wouldn't have nothing to complain about. That's my gripe about people who don't study anything. I'm like, you complaining or you know doing all this stuff just because it's something that you don't know. Start learning more. And again, they may have to get that from you. You may be the teacher in that aspect. You have to teach them, well, this is how I am. And you know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. You compliment, you know, you don't really got to complain about it, but that's just what they're going to do. They're being a student. So,
can I also say something too?
yeah.
I feel like when people do that, they're also projecting on you.
That's true. That's
I
very, very
had my
true.
twin flame do that to me. One time I was talking to him about something. He was like, "Oh, that's awfully interesting." And yet, what would you tell one of your clients if they came to you in that situation? Would you tell them to act the way you're acting right now? I said no, because they ain't married to you. I am.
Mm.
So don't try to project with me. It's like
No,
you
yeah.
can't play head games with the head doctor, honey. I got a degree in psychology. Okay, we both do, and sometimes that's what makes us compound. We both, and I find myself sometimes projecting my stuff on him.
Right.
I mean, we just go back and forth. So sometimes it's not always our twin. We mirror each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's like you said, when you study psychology, like I know you've done, that's just the human aspect of people. We're gonna
Yeah,
do that. If we have things inside of us, that's how it shows where you project. You need to stop doing this because you're doing this all the time. It's like I don't
exactly.
really need to stop doing that. I could be me, you could do you. We cannot complain about each other and have a good union. But the fact that you bringing this up is something that's deeper in you that you're not addressing. So why don't you fix yourself? So
Yep.
you're absolutely right about that. Next question from Neat97. Freedom. Freedom. I love that name. How do you cover your twin in a way to help them on their journey without being a part of it? That's a really good question. How do you cover your twin in a way to help them on their journey without being? There's actually a few ways you can do that without actually being with them, because this is your twin flame, and it's I actually do like that terminology because it denotes one thing. In my family, I actually have people who are twins,
Me too.
and one thing that they have taught me about this particular vernacular, twin flame, is when you study twins will be like, oh, my twin not doing good right now. He in a bad space. He's somewhere and he not liking where he at. I can feel it. I know it. You know what I'm saying? So, and
Mhm.
I'll be looking like, what the fuck? And then you call him, like, man, I just missed the bus. I got fired from my job. I'm like, damn, I was just talking to your twin, and they
Mhm.
said you was in a messed up space. And guess where you at right now?
In
So
a
it's
messed
just
up
like
space.
that deeper connection. That I think that's what we came up with that
Mhm.
terminology. The fact that twins can actually have that almost clairvoyant type of thing, like, oh yeah, my
Mhm.
twin, he's somewhere fucked up. We need to go. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So you will have that with a twin flame, where it's just like you kind of can tell, you just have this inner knowing about with them. So how you can cover them on their journey without actually being there is with your mind. You can protect them. You can say, I want them to be protected. I want them to, now again, they're gonna go through their journey, they're gonna go through their traumatic experiences. But you just don't want them to, you know what I'm saying? You can, again, some people may call it rituals. You don't have to do all this hamana. You don't have to do all this other stuff. You can just do it with your mind. I want them to be protected. I want them to go through their journey, how they going through it, and I'm sending them energy. That's how you send energy. You know what I'm saying? And just make sure that they are on the right paths, that they don't go down any place that they're not supposed to go down, that they doing their journey the right way, physically apart. Because you always connected, even if they could be
That's right.
on the other side of the world. You can still send energy, and they'll know, like, dang, why I'm thinking about this person right now. You can do that right now. You can send somebody a thought. They may or may not hit you up, just depending on how stubborn they are. I know about stubbornness. I'm a tourist, but you can just send them a thought right now, like, I'm thinking about you. Think about me, and they'll be like, damn, well, I'm thinking about this person right now. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's really that easy. It's really that simple. You can send energy like that. I send them protection energy. They will be protected, and you got to know that it works. Can't be like, I hope it do work. I hope the ritual that I just did. Just know that it works. I'm sending them protection energy. They are protected. Just do it
So
like
you
that.
can cover them, just to recap, you can cover your twin, the anarchist is saying, just by using the power of your mind.
Facts. Facts. Just send them energy. You can say it. You can think it. You can, if you want to do a ritual. But again, those are the rituals. You can just do a ritual sitting in your mind. So a lot of the rituals I do is just with
I
my
do a ritual,
thoughts.
y'all.
Yeah. Honestly, like I said, there's multiple
It
ways
just
to do
helps
it.
me. It just helps my mental, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
When I light, it's something about honestly lighting the candle, having and holding the attention,
Mm-hmm.
smelling the herbs that are from the earth. I love working with the elements. It just
Mm-hmm.
is healing to me. It's freeing to me. It's freeing to them as well.
Yep. And I'll give people another key. One of the reasons why rituals work is because as human beings, the way our mind works is again, you just want to get to the part of where you know it's happening. So for some people, because I did this, I know it's working. Because I did this. The
Mhm.
fact that I lit a candle, it helps me to know I did something. And of course, we know one of the laws of the universe, cause and effect. I lit this candle
Yeah.
for that, so that has to happen. So again, that
Mhm.
works for some people's minds. It's just like, I know it's going to happen now because I did this. In my
Mhm.
mind, the reason why I can sit back and do nothing is because I'm so visual. All I really have to do is
Mhm.
create things in my mind, hold images in my mind, and then just
Mhm.
send it out. That's how I
Mhm.
know it works.
Thought
But it's about
forms.
knowing
Mhm.
what you just did work. You have to know. So if you just do it with your mind, like, they're covered, they're protected. You have to know the fact that you just did that is going to work. All right. So the next question is from Donna. She says, am I the only one that has a physical reaction when they're not around their twin? You are not the only one.
Mm-mm.
Like I just said, you're not the only one. I be at work sometimes like, dang, I miss her. I miss her. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. That's just really what it is. Like, the closer we get together, the more regular and just content I feel.
Mhm.
And when we apart, sometimes I just don't. And that's where we at right now, where I just need to be around her. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, the energy is so much better. So, no, Donna, to simply answer the question, you are definitely not the only one that has a physical reaction. Some people, it's even more deeper than some others. Some people get actually physically sick the
I'm
further
gonna tell
they
you.
get.
I'm gonna tell you a short story. When me and my husband was coming back from Africa, when he was migrating here to be with me, we got separated at the New York airport. Do you know we both were crying, and the police had to bring my husband to me. I felt like he was my child, and he looked at both of us. He was like, "You guys were both crying." We were both literally crying because we
Mm-hmm.
were separated and we couldn't find each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just how that
So,
connection just works sometimes. Where it's
yeah.
just like, you got to be at a certain point. You have to be around each other physically. All,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying. A lot of the time, you're not all the time, but a lot of the time. So definitely, you're not the only one, Donna. That's a good question.
Yes.
Really good question.
Absolutely. I think that's our last question. I don't see any other questions. So, okay. So the Anarchists, tell them how they can get a hold of you.
Right now, if you guys want to follow me, you can definitely follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Anarkist Beats, just like you see it spelled. Anarkist, Anarchist, and Beats with a Z. Like I said earlier in the live, you guys can go back and watch the whole thing. It'll be very, very enlightening. But right now, I'm not doing so many videos because I'm really into my research right now. I'm in research mode, and I think we just went through a retrograde, and I didn't even know, but oftentimes I do stuff to line up with that stuff without even knowing it's happening.
You didn't know we
Um,
were in a retrograde?
I didn't know.
Oh my
I didn't know.
God.
I really don't. You know what I'm saying? Because for the most part, where I'm at, for the most part, I know it does happen because I'm in humanity, but
Right.
those things, I'm almost above it to where it
You
doesn't
vibrate
really
above it.
negatively affect me too much.
Right.
I can't
Right.
work with the energy. So if it's a retrograde, I can be like, okay, it's a retrograde or it's a full, which I do believe it's a full moon tonight. It may be. I'm not sure, but I was looking at the moon. I'm like, damn, is it full? I need to do some
It was a full
rituals.
moon.
Well,
It
this
was a
is a
full
sort of
moon
ritual.
tonight. I saw it on
Yeah,
the way
so it's
home.
just like I'm at a point where it's just like I'm so aligned with the universe that I end up doing things I'm supposed to do when astronomical things happen without even really knowing it. So I was going into myself for a little bit, but you can follow me on Instagram, Anarchist Beats with a Z. My YouTube channel is The Anarchist. Search me because YouTube has hidden me. I done had 10 channels. They deleted every last one of them. And I just kind of like, you know what? Let me start talking about the stuff I'm talking about on YouTube.
Right.
But you guys can still follow me for this type of conversation, for this type of talk, the spirituality, metaphysics, truth seeker information. You can follow me on YouTube. And I'm also on Facebook. If you search the page The Anarkist Truth. That's me on Facebook. So I don't know when it's gonna happen, but when I really get back to doing videos, it's going to be some real insightful stuff. I'm going to talk a lot about spirituality, I'm going to do just a lot of interesting videos. What I want to do, because again, my battle is with the mainstream movies that they put out to mind control you, the mainstream stuff that they try to highlight on YouTube and all this other stuff. I want to put out stuff to combat that, to give people the real information so they can go into themselves and do whatever they need to do, find a twin flame, get the knowledge they need, get out of here and transition to the next level. Whatever it is they need to do, that's what I'm trying to help people do, instead of just being down here being deaf, dumb, and blind. So that's what I'm about.
We got 2 more questions. I know you spent a lot of time, and you just let me know if this is going, too far. But can you take 2 more questions?
Or... No, yeah, I can take. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So the question here.
Yep.
Which from Donna again. She said, "Is it true that twin flames are the only ones? Is it true that twin flames are the only ones that can have twin flames?" All right, I don't know if I'm understanding that question. Is it true that twin flames are the only ones that can have twin flames? No. Every spirit, the real spirits, because we can get to a conversation about counterfeit spirits, but every real spirit that's down here has a twin flame. Everyone. You would not be a spirit if you did not have a twin flame. Because again, if you are the masculine half, we are down here 2 halves. We are all 2 halves. I am reflecting the masculine half of my spirit. There exists a feminine half of my spirit. And that is with every spirit that's down here. We are all separated, just like the that's why I actually started off trying to tell you that Platonic, the Plato mythology, about how Zeus, who is actually the Greek form of God, splitting the so-called original human in half. So that's not true. But then again, the way the question is it true that only twin flames only have twin flames? Like, that's kind of a weird question. But if you were asking, is it true that, I'll answer it like this: every single spirit down here in a human form has a twin flame. So that can almost be every spirit here, with the exception of counterfeit spirits. There are fake spirits down here. What do you mean by a fake spirit, Anarchist? These spirits that are able to be human beings down here don't transition to the next level.
So they have no souls. They
don't have a soul at all.
Yeah.
So the jury's out of whether they have a twin flame. They're not even supposed to be here. But you know what I'm saying? So not them. But every real spirit, every real soul down here has another half. Okay, and Sheila Vink has a question. What if there goes so many years that you are so tired of this twin flame journey that you move on and think, I don't want this anymore, we are done? Let me tell you something, Sheila. You didn't choose the game. The game chose you. So I don't care what you think. And you will be still sitting there thinking that at the bus stop, but somebody be sitting right next to you like, what up? Like, what up with you? What up with you? You know what I'm saying? And you'll be like, what's this mother? You know what I'm saying? So again, that's why I say you do have to walk around with a type of confidence so you don't get on that level. Because again, it's not about, oh, well, I don't think there's a twin flame, so maybe that means I won't find that. No. You have to have God-like thinking. Do you think God sits around like, man, I'm just so depressed? God don't get depressed. You know what I'm saying? The creator of the universe don't get depressed. The creator just is what it is. I want to create this, I'm going to create that. If I want a partner, I'll create that for myself. If I want this, I'll create that for myself. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of thinking you want to have. Because even if you think, oh, I don't believe, I'm just so tired of this twin flame journey, that's a human being way of thinking. Humans get depressed, they get angst, they get fearful, they get, you know what I'm saying? So that doesn't automatically take you out of the game. Because like I just said in my answer to, I think it was Donna, whether you like it or not, you got a twin flame. You got a soul, half. So, whether you think you found it or you don't think you found it is irrelevant. But I will say, sometimes we go lifetimes. We have to have lifetimes without our twin. That just happens sometimes. It just is what it is. You got to
We
go through
need
a
it
whole
for
lifetime
we
without.
need it for our own soul evolution on our own.
Exactly. So, but just put that in the context where you got millions and millions and millions and millions of reincarnations. So, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Donna's back. She said, the reason I asked is because I feel as though my mother and father were twin flames, and I believe that my grandparents were twin flames. That's almost kind of obvious, especially people who, again, and it's not always this, but especially if they've been together for a while. That almost denotes in humanity, like these people almost can't get away from each other type stuff. You know what I'm saying? So when you have these parents and they've been, you know what I'm saying? Again, I don't know for a fact, but I would say that that's probably true. Again, you know, that's why I want to get people out of the mindset, is why I said earlier, don't think, oh, it's so many billions of people. How do I know which one of those billions are my twin flame? Y'all gonna find each other. It's just going to happen. It's just going to happen. You need to get out of your own way so that person can come through, clear out the mess, so they can just walk right through, right on to you, and it's going to happen, whether you like it or not. Again, these people may not even be in this way spiritual people. They may not even understand on a level that we're talking, we're talking, but they know that they found the other half. They may not even call it twin flame. They may not call it a soul tie, but they know that they found a person that they're going to spend the rest of this life with, as it was written.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely. One last thing.
Okay, and Jesse says, could you touch on the twins and Ascension into 5D? Thank you. All right, touch on the twins and Ascension into 5D, fifth dimension. I'll say this about that. Because this is another concept that I feel like has been very degraded. And there's a fact that we are in dimensions. We are in 3D. We are in third dimension, humanity, where we are all physical beings having a human physical experience. But again, remember what I said in the beginning. We as human beings tend to do this thing where we define things and lock it down. So here on third dimension, we have this thing about, oh, when I get to 5D. Now, I'll tell you what's an absolute fact. Third dimension, obviously, because we're here. Fourth dimension, which is also known as the astral realm. And really, the astral realm, for those who have actually astral projected, is just an etherical version of this realm. The Gnostics real kind of still see it as you trapped in 4D. So a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to get to 5D and it's going to be straight. Again, you read so many different spiritual books. I've read books that talked about there are millions of dimensions. There are some books that say it's only 13 dimensions, only 7 dimensions, it's only 5 dimensions. That's why, again, when you get into spirituality, the higher you get as a spirit, it is all about perspective. So I know that there are
Metaphysics say 33 vertebrae, 33 consciousness, 33 levels in masonry. So they say
exactly. And then I read another book that talked about 72. So again, you're always going to get these different
perspectives.
I'm always going to get different perspectives. So I don't really want to think, oh, once I get to 5D, just understand when you transition to the part that you're supposed to be in, it's not going to be like humanity. So don't think, oh, well, I'm going to meet the person and see him in 5D. If you transcend the third and fourth dimension, that's it. Y'all one. The twin, you and the twin are one entity at that point. And I guess the further you go to the dimensions until you get to the infinite point, then it's only the one. It's only God. Nothing else exists outside of God. Nothing else exists outside. And again, it's not really something that all human beings can really wrap their minds around. What does it mean to not be somewhere where there's conflict, where there's trauma, where there's duality? Me and Dr. Tyen are two different people right now, but once we transcend all of the dimensions, we become the one. We go back to perfection. Nothing has to happen after that.
That's right. Okay. Thank you so much, the Anarkist, for your time and gracing us with your quirky attitude and spirit. We love the red part of you.
I love y'all too, man. I love being here, having these conversations. Is always growing. Hopefully it does something for y'all, but it also does something for me. It sends me back into my study, especially with the questions, and I get to teach myself more, learn more, and become a better teacher. So I'm glad to be here.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to go ahead and sign off. I'm going to leave the Anarkist for his evening. All right. Namaste.
Peace.